Welcome. This is a recording of adults playing or talking about tabletop games. This means that adult language and/or themes may occur within that could be seen as inappropriate for younger audiences. Thank you. Hey guys, John here. Just got done talking with the party after the session, and I wanted to go over my thoughts and opinions on how things went tonight. Um, I felt that at least as far as stories go and concepts and ideas and interesting things and plots and stuff, I was happy with what I did. Unfortunately, the players had a really rough time tonight in figuring out how to work as a team. The team element is very difficult for them, where they're not all on the same wavelength. We had a couple instances of that throughout the night. Mainly like in the beginning, how to group up, then what to do after the fact, and that caused a lot of problems for them. And it actually almost got a couple of them killed. So I wasn't too keen on that. I wasn't very happy that that happened. But it's one of the reasons I wrote the encounter the way it was, wrote the situation in the way that it was done. Um, they had the options to kind of do everything right. There was a perfect storm. There was a perfect way to do everything where they were going to come out the hero and everything was going to be great. And they literally did the exact opposite on almost every single aspect of it. And that's the way it goes. Like I prepared for it. I knew that it might be a situation or a thing that they did. Um, and it happens. Um, so things that were supposed to happen. They were supposed to kill the Inquisitor. I had planned for them to kill the Inquisitor. They didn't do it. They were supposed to kill Cerberus. They didn't do it. They were supposed to save everyone. They didn't do it. Manny was supposed to end up being alive at the end. They didn't do it. Really, the only thing they got right was saving Wayo. That was the one piece that they did well. So next session will be very interesting because now they're going to have to go back to the station and basically tell everyone that everyone there is dead, including Manny. So that'll be kind of fun for next session. Bright side of things. The players overall felt that they didn't do well. They had a victory, but it wasn't a very filled victory. It was a fulfilling victory, I should say. Um, you know, because they didn't succeed in any of those things, and I can understand why they're upset, and I feel bad for them because I didn't give them that awesome success that they wanted, that victory. But they did it to themselves, and I told them that afterwards. I said, there was absolutely a way that you could have done all these things. I told them to it. I showed them the points from the session before on how even before that happened, he they were given information on how to beat him, and they didn't do it. Um, they did great on the riddles, which I really loved. They instantly got it. I made them kind of easy, like they were very like well-known aspects, but Steven was awesome in figuring out the verse too. Um, so I was really happy about that. But I don't know, there's just that combat was just so hard for them. That dog literally was not supposed to last more than like 3 or 4 turns, maybe. If they grouped up, the dog was afraid of light, um, and flame actually hurt it more, like actual flame. So like Ren's fire sword wouldn't work, do additional damage on it. But yeah, it was afraid of light. That's why it ran from Ren. There were just certain mechanical aspects that they didn't know existed and didn't try pushing or going against. And um, it was disastrous for them in the long run because of that situation. As far as the story goes, one of the things that I said I'd do for this GM session was to actually talk about what the story was, how it was supposed to work. So I added to the story during Manny's dream, his nightmare, what basically was going on. So the Inquisitor, whose name was Mike, um, that was his actual human name, was Mike. He was the brother of Manny. And Manny was much older than what the station had been telling him. And the station lied because their actions caused the death of his parents. Um, the station felt guilty that they didn't just kill Mike, or that maybe some of them felt that they shouldn't have punished Mike nearly as hard. He was a teenager at the time in the story. Um, and he was just trying to survive. It played on the concept of when is it okay to eat humans, when is morality okay? When do you become innocent in normal morality, societal's morality, and that was kind of the play on what is truth. And there are I specifically made sure I asked the players questions where they couldn't, where basically they were viewed in much the same light as he was, and so that they could kind of start understanding that he, while evil, was the product of the same path that they have been choosing. That sometimes the ends don't justify the means. And so the players, like, so when they first entered the situation and they were shown all the rooms of torture, um, each of the rooms actually told the story through torture methods. Um, so people were starved, they were eating their own flesh, they were hurting each other, and basically towards the end, it was family hurting family, and basically that was him basically talking about him getting hurt by his own family and them abandoning him and leaving him and betraying him, and then him killing his own family. He wanted to get Manny back, because he always felt a kinship and a warm part of himself with Manny, and so he wanted to bring Manny to his side, especially because Manny was kind of taking a darker tone with me not being in the role of Manny, and Steven playing Manny. Manny was really dark, and Manny got darker and darker, so I felt that was really okay, at least in my mind, to kind of shape the story to fit Steven playing Manny and Manny's kind of like path to darkness. So I kind of had a really good time with kind of weaving that into the story. Um, I originally wanted Wyo to kind of be evil, but I decided to go against that and just make her kind of a product of the situation, collateral damage in the entire thing. But basically, what happened was is that the Inquisitor views anyone that wasn't directly involved in his banishing, i.e., children, to not be um, basically they're innocent. They had no choice. They didn't ban him, things like that, so he wasn't going to hurt them. And there was actually a room inside of the high school where all the innocent people were, and that he basically caught because he wasn't able to choose who was innocent and who wasn't when he was caught. So when he escaped, what he was actually doing was he went to that room and pulled all those people out and forced them out so that he could save them, and then that way he could blow up the school. And he was going to kill everyone in the school. And there's still a part that hasn't been devolved, divulged. That's the word I'm looking for. Divulged to the players, and that's that there's still people within the station that he wants to kill. Heinlein is the main one, and the players haven't thought about that. And maybe they'll watch this and maybe they'll figure it out, but it'll be way too late at that point. They'll probably be off doing some other adventures, so far, far away from the station when they realize that um, that Mike's job is not finished. And now that they didn't kill Mike, Mike can be an arch nemesis that reappears and shows himself later. So that'll be kind of cool to kind of let that play out. Um, as far as the combat went, the players did really okay. Positioning was their main issue. They didn't understand that the dog always tried to single out the person and move people, separate them. It literally, I mean, like, all it did for things was it wanted to knock down and throw, knock down and throw, knock down and throw. That's all it wanted to do over and over and over. And then if it could, eliminate a threat, which is in the case of Zeke, when he was low, basically I did everything I could on that one roll to kind of take him down. I just didn't want to like overdo it. So that's kind of what I did. What else? Where things go from here. So I haven't talked with Steven. He had to leave early, which was really unfortunate, but real life and girlfriend and things. I don't know if we're going to be seeing more Steven. Originally, I had pitched this to him as a one-time deal, Basically, play the story, which would be 1 to 2 sessions, see what you think. Now you can say that you've played tabletop games before. Um, but I haven't talked with the other players. I'm going to leave that really up to them. Kiro, Andrew, Nate, and Zach on if they want to have a fifth person involved in the entire thing. Um, my concern is that they have a hard enough time figuring out what they want to do with just the four of them, let alone adding a fifth player. However, Steven is a very logical and very smart person as a whole, and so he's very good about problem solving. If you remember, he's actually the one that pretty much like nailed almost every single one of the riddles. Um, Fun fact: the last riddle was actually from The Hobbit. I did not write that one. Um, that was from The Hobbit. The only one I wrote was the Four Horsemen one. I took the idea from another riddle that I saw and rewrote the entire thing with like those first two lines. I really liked those first two lines, so I used those as kind of like a base, and I changed a couple of the words, and then I wrote in new stuff afterwards, and it was kind of fun to do, and I like the concept of it, so I did that. Um, but we'll see if Steven makes an appearance. Obviously, he'll be joining us or not joining us well before you see this video, but it's there. Other than that, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed a very unique and weird combat encounter with all the shadows and movement and people not being able to see people. Obviously, at least on my end, you can see where everyone is, where they can only basically see their little dot moving around. Very fun and interesting, at least on my aspect, and hopefully you enjoy yourselves. Until next time, thank you guys, and I'll see you again. Bye.